As far as the injuries go, really Nick Bolton was the only one that got hurt a little bit, but he was able to come back in the game. Did a nice job finishing up. There are some good things. Most of all, the win was a positive here, and these things are hard to get in this league, and especially against this crew. They do a nice job, and against us, it seems like every time we play them, so it comes right down to the end. So a couple of the highlights. Pat had a big day. He was 25 for 43 for over 300 yards, touchdown. Kels had a big day with 7 catches for 68 yards, and D-Hop showed up with 4 catches for 90 yards. And then we did a nice job on third downs. The red zone, we've got to do better there. We were 1 for 5 in the red zone, and that's not good enough when you're playing a team like this. So we've got to take care of business there. The 6 penalties on the offense and the defensive side was not a positive either. We've got to make sure we clean some of those things up. It's hard to go backwards in this league and win games, and we were doing it there a little bit. On the defensive side, Bolton had a nice day with 10 tackles, and the fumble recovery at the end was tremendous. George had a sack and a deflection, which was big, and then Chris Jones came up real big with the 2 sacks, and he was playing on the other side there. It was good to get Omenihu suited up and playing. And then our kicker, Matt, with 4 kicks. He had the long one that he missed, but that was a long shot to start with. And then the other ones that were more in that range where you've got to be consistent. He was consistent with it. So, but the guys get a little bit of rest here, which I think is a good thing, coming off the short week and the kind of crazy schedule that we have. So they're going to get a couple days off, and I know they'll take advantage of that by resting up. So with that, time's yours. Yeah, so Wanye was struggling a little bit, so moved Joe over there, Caliendo in at guard. I thought it was the right thing to do at that time. Talked to Andy about it. He agreed with it, and so we made that move. And just to solidify things, Pat took a few hits there, and so we were struggling at times. Well, I tell you, yeah, I mean, I think you know this, Sam, but I would tell you that it's disruptive to any offense if the quarterback's getting hit and not able to get the ball off. And so that can be a problem. Now, listen, he's playing against a couple of good players, and so, but you've got to do better than what we did there.
I talked to Wanye in there a little bit. He was disappointed himself for penalties as well. Those are things you just can't do in that spot, especially when you're short.
Yeah, good observation. Yeah, you can't do that. So penalties are killers in this thing, and then the sacks are killers. So going backwards.
You guys clinched a playoff spot today, as you know. Does this one feel any different given the down-to-the-wire nature of almost all these games?
Well, it's a lot earlier than the other ones.
Coach, can you take us through the play at the end with the fumble and kind of what your view of it was and the referee's explanation? It seemed a little confusing.
Yeah, it wasn't confusing from our standpoint. We were good with it. They had to clarify a couple things, but it was a fumble, and they just wanted to make sure they had all the bases covered.
How much consideration did you give going for it?
Yeah, I did. I considered it. That's why I called the timeout there. Hindsight, it might have been a good thing to do it, although we came out with a win. So.
What was 46 times, only 14 rushes? How much of that impacted you with protection, or was it just a product of having
The run, you're saying? Yeah, well, we weren't doing too good with it. And so I felt the way they were playing, they were bringing an extra guy. I felt like we were better off with a short passing game, which was working. We were going up and down the field. We just weren't doing very good in the red zone. So we were struggling with the runs early. And so that was a decision I made with.
Why did you decide to punt there?
Yeah, listen, I mean, that's one of those catch-22s either way. I would tell you that our punter was on fire today, doing a great job, and he he backed them up, and I've trusted what we would do defensively there. So.
Did Frazier for you there at all?
Well, we talk. I mean, yeah, we talk. Yeah.
How did you sense Pacheco in the minute he came out?
Say that again, Pacheco.
Back in the lineup?
Yeah, that was great. I thought that was a positive. It was good to get Pacheco some reps in there. I thought he did a nice job when we had an opportunity to run. All right, good.
The Kansas City Chiefs are finding weird ways to win this season. Friday was the weirdest way of all. The Las Vegas Raiders were in field goal range with less than 20 seconds left, and they were trying to get closer. Rookie center Jackson Powers-Johnson then snapped to quarterback Aiden O'Connell in shotgun before he was ready, and it hit him in the chest. The Chiefs fell on the ball, and after a long conference between the officials, they ruled the Chiefs had recovered the fumble. Game over. Chiefs win 19-17. Kansas City is doing just enough to get by, and they seem to find a way to win close games over inferior teams every week. Amazingly, that's been good enough for 11-1 record. The Chiefs looked unimpressive yet again on Friday, but as usual they found a way to win. This time it was holding off the Las Vegas Raiders, who are now 2-10. The Chiefs are now the first team this season to clinch a playoff spot, but their issues are legitimate. Their offensive tackles are struggling badly. The offensive skill position talent is good but doesn't have a lot of explosive speed outside of Xavier Worthy, who is an unreliable rookie. The defense this season has been good but short of what it was last season. And despite all of that, the Chiefs are 11-1. And as we all learned last season, when the games matter most in January, the Chiefs' issues just seem to fade away once the postseason starts and they're marching to another Super Bowl. But they shouldn't be barely beating teams like the Raiders. Chiefs struggle early on. The game seemed to be there for the taking for the Raiders. They just kept blowing opportunities. The Raiders were able to move the ball well enough but couldn't do enough on the Chiefs' side of the field. Daniel Carlson missed 2 long field goals. The Raiders, one of the worst rushing teams in the NFL over many years, also got stuffed on a 4th-and-1 handoff at the Chiefs' 31, late in the third quarter, right before O'Connell took a 15-yard sack that led into Carlson missing another field goal. The Raiders were outgaining the Chiefs, and they trailed 13-3. Finally, the Raiders made a move. Amir Abdullah had a long kickoff return, and then electric rookie tight end Brock Bowers had a great touchdown grab from 33 yards out. The Raiders trailed 16-10. Once again, the back-to-back champion Chiefs were in a closer game than anyone expected against one of the worst teams in the NFL. Then it got serious as the Raiders took a fourth-quarter lead. Raiders hit a big play. On the first play of the fourth quarter, O'Connell threw deep down the left sideline. Trey Tucker got behind the Chiefs' secondary and caught a 58-yard touchdown that gave the Raiders a lead and gave everyone a jolt. At that moment, 8 seconds into the fourth quarter, the Raiders had outplayed the Chiefs. At Arrowhead Stadium. With O'Connell returning from injury to play his first game in over a month, the Chiefs put together a drive into Raiders territory, though that stalled when both tackles were beaten on a third-and-goal play and Kansas City settled for a field goal and a 19-17 lead. Mahomes was visibly upset after that play, and on the next series guard Joe Thuney replaced Wanya Morris at left tackle. That's a situation the Chiefs have to figure out before the playoffs. The Raiders had a shot to take a late lead. They drove into Chiefs territory in the final minutes. But with 2:17 left, not facing a decent option on 4th and 11, Carlson tried a 58-yard field goal and was well short for his third miss of the day. Carlson has been one of the best kickers in the NFL over his career, but the Chiefs caught him on what might be his worst day as a pro, and because the Chiefs couldn't put the game away, the Raiders had yet another chance. Bowers had a huge 25-yard catch down the middle to get the Raiders close to field goal range, and then Jacoby Myers and Amir Abdullah made catches to get Las Vegas even closer. But the Raiders screwed up the shotgun snap, the Chiefs fell on it and the game was over. The play call came in late, and with the play clock winding down, O'Connell started clapping almost as soon as the huddle broke for the snap to come quickly. The left guard tapped Powers-Johnson, who snapped it before O'Connell was ready. It bounced off him and the Chiefs fell on it to end the game. The Chiefs haven't played well for much of the season, but their record is still almost pristine, somehow. There must be something in Travis Kelce's contract mandating at least one attempted lateral each year, because he met that quota today in the Kansas City Chiefs game against the Las Vegas Raiders. And Taylor Swift loved it. In the middle of the second quarter of the game, Kelce caught a pass from Patrick Mahomes over the middle. But with a Raiders defender in his face and preparing to drop him short of the first down marker, Kelce flipped the pass over to Samaje Perine, who snatched the ball out of the air and kept running for the first down. That flipped pass would prove big, as just a few plays later the Chiefs managed to score their first touchdown of the game and ultimately took a 10-3 lead into halftime. But in the moment, fans went absolutely wild, and Swift was no exception. Amazon Prime's cameras panned to the pop music icon from retweets celebrating Kelce's big play by doing the first down hand gesture. The Raiders won the coin flip, but deferred to the second quarter. The Chiefs connected on a 3rd and 8 play. The Raiders were offsides and Kansas City declined the penalty on a pass from Patrick Mahomes to tight end Travis Kelce to get into Las Vegas territory. The Chiefs settled for a short field goal to take a 3-0 lead with 10:06 remaining in the quarter after stalling in the red zone. It was a 13-play, 66-yard drive. A Jackson Powers Johnson hold killed the Raiders' first drive and they ended up punting. Raiders star punter A.J. Cole pinned the Chiefs down at their 1-yard line, but another Raiders penalty erased it. Cole could duplicate his success on the second punt. On the Chiefs' second drive, Kansas City was flagged twice, but Raider killer Travis Kelce had a big drive and converted on first in Las Vegas territory. Yet, the Chiefs committed a third big penalty and had to punt, completely killing themselves. The quarter ended with Kansas City standout linebacker Nick Bolton getting banged up. He stayed in. The Chiefs lead 3-0 going into the second quarter. Second quarter, Aiden O'Connell showed his thumb is fine after missing 4 games as he connected deep with wide receiver Jacoby Myers on a 43-yard play. Myers had 86 yards receiving 2 minutes into the second quarter. The Raiders stalled inside the Chiefs' 10 and O'Connell was sacked on 3rd down, so they settled for a Daniel Carlson field goal to tie the game at 3-3 with 11:03 to go. But it pretty encouraging for the Raiders after the Chiefs' second drive stalled to be able to tie the game. Then, Clavon Chaisson sacked Mahomes to force a quick Kansas City punt. The Raiders' defensive line looked sharp. DJ Turner started the Raiders' drive with a nice punt return. Bolton dropped a pick by